Hey there, welcome back to Jimothy Listeners. My name is Jimothy, and today we're talking about the albums that are worth your time from this past August. But Jimothy, it's the middle of September. What are we doing talking about? I know, okay? If you haven't seen the 10,000 other videos I've mentioned, I've been busy. I only just got through August's albums literally this morning, and I say got through, I actually still have a ton to listen to, but I left behind the ones that I don't think are going to make this list. This month I also started doing weekly album roundups of whatever I've been listening to in the last week. So if you want to see even more stuff that I've been listening to, some good, some average, check those out. But this video's for just giving you like the best of the best from this month. You know, the stuff that if you're like, oh, I really just can't listen to all of this great stuff for whatever reason. These are the ones that you should go to. The cream of the crop, I may say. Starting with...
And I am just a cat watching another cat on TV.
Cheekface. This was a needle drop recommendation, and yeah, it's fun. It's a very kind of... It's weird to describe because this album sounds very ordinary, and that's kind of part of the charm, is because the playing is whatever, the vocals are pretty atrocious honestly, but the lyrics are just so surreal and wacky and very relatable that it just kind of gives it a very inane but also insane feeling. Like, this album just takes sort of this insane, hellish, capitalistic, apocalyptic wasteland that we're living in and just makes it very mundane and whatever and average in a way that's very tongue-in-cheek and very funny until it's not, and you suddenly go, oh wait, no, this is the world that we're living in and it's stupid and it makes no sense. And it kind of, I don't know, there was definitely a moment listening to this where I was like, ooh, and it kind of like hit and I realized. And so yeah, this is it's a very fun listen. It's a very interesting listen. I like it a lot. I keep coming back to it. Next up is the solo debut from hip-hop producer Kenny Beats. This album's just really super nice. I talked about it in one of my weekly roundups, but it's just super like delicious. Obviously Kenny's production is wonderful and luscious and very vibey, but the extra meaning around it, considering this album was made as like a gift to his father who fell ill, and kind of, you know, his dad was the one who introduced him to like mixtapes and that kind of like feel, and so it has that very like old school mixtape like stitched together feel, along with a lot of recordings of like a young Kenny and like recordings of his dad and like other different snippets and stuff talking about family and love, and then just like the wide swath of collaborators on there as well, both on terms of like vocals and in the music sense. Just really turn like a collection of nice beats into an album that really just sort of feels like love and family and community, and it's just really nice to listen to. It just feels like someone just giving you a nice little hug, and I really like it. I keep coming back to it because it's just super sweet. I like it. The exact opposite of sweet, though, is this new album from Diamanda Galas. I hope that's how you say the name. The album is called Broken Gargoyles. I have never heard of Diamanda Galas before listening to this. She has been around since like the 1980s, apparently, but this is the first I've heard of her. And this album, it's just insane. It's horrific. It's more like a artistic soundscape than like traditional sort of music. You know, it's very avant-garde, artsy, and I'm very into it. It's horrific and terrifying and just sick as hell. The expertise that Galas shows over sound is incredible, with just each little detail tweaked to perfection to just have the most sort of visceral, spine-chilling effect is insane. Her voice does so much with these kind of like wailing and shrieking moments, as well as some nice operatic drones, and also her just speaking, reciting poetry. She has a very commanding presence. It shows that she has been doing this for decades. It's obvious that she knows her craft very, very well and can just make something like this that is just sound but literally transports you to another dimension of suffering and pain. And it's a tough listen. It's not one I would recommend just listening to when you're like, oh, let's just chuck something on for fun. But it's definitely rewarding, definitely one of the most interesting things to come out this month.
Yeah, while y'all was suffering from future shock, hurting and hating, waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Now this is some good old-fashioned hip-hop. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy a lot of the kind of like modern trap stuff, but a lot of it's kind of a bit mindless and soulless. But this is hip-hop right here. This is just such a refreshing album. It's just old school hip hop. I think I heard it described as like dad rap, which is very funny considering I'm 22 years old and I'm like, yeah, this is my jam, but you know, whatever. But it's just, it's that old school hip hop sound just done to perfection. Danger Mouse's production is thick and luscious and carries so much weight. All of the samples are used super well. Black Thought's rapping is just, it's Black Thought. He hasn't stuck around this long for no reason, and he absolutely just shows off everything he can. There is not a bad verse or even a mediocre verse from him across this album. Same with the features. There is not a dud, whether it's people singing hooks or delivering their own verses. All of the features absolutely like match the quality of the rest of the album, and it's just hip hop. It's hip hop. It's refreshing. It bangs. It's just, I love it. It's good. It's really good.
This is the way.
Girls' Generation have come back after, what is it, like seven years or something, with a brand new album. This is my first Girls' Generation album that I have heard, and God, it's so good. I filmed a reaction to it, which you can go and watch. I'll link it down below or put it in one of the... I get that wrong every fucking time. But yeah, go and watch that. But this album, it's so good. The girls bring sort of a very like breezy, lighthearted, old school pop sound over SM's signature, like very textural and rich and luscious production to just create something that feels sort of interesting and innovative while also being just familiar and a lot of fun. There is not a bad song to be found on this album. I absolutely love all of them. It's just banger after banger, and this album is absolutely a fitting celebration for the 15th anniversary of these absolute legends.
Round here, if it smell funny, onions getting peeled. Round here.
Tobe Nwigwe's moMINTs is an album that I feel like I've talked about quite a bit. Definitely have done it in a weekly roundup, but I just absolutely love it. This is easily one of the most fun and exciting rap albums of this year. Tobe's energy is unmatched. He brings fiery bars over some really cool sort of fluid and dynamic beats that are constantly shifting and just go hard as hell. It's like this album is constantly working to just try and top itself, which is a feat considering literally from the first second of the album it has its foot on the gas. But there's just such a nice variety of sort of styles and influences on this album, all of which are done masterfully. Even the calmer moments are super compelling and interesting. I really just can't get enough of this album. I absolutely love it. And the final album for this month is the new one from Billlie, The Billage of Perception Chapter 2. Also filmed a reaction for this, which you can get literally in the same, which you can go and watch. But this is such a tasty album. This is the album I have been waiting for Billlie to make. Like, they are easily one of the most talented groups in K-pop at the moment, but their two albums so far just haven't really sort of like come together as an album and like really rocked from start to finish. This is exactly it. This is exactly what I was waiting for from Billlie. It's just great tracks from start to finish, excluding the kind of boring ballad at the end, but whatever, we can ignore it. The production on some of the B-sides is absolutely insane. Like, the first two tracks are busy as hell in the best way possible. The title track, Ring My Bell, is just a pop rock anthem that I continue to love more and more every time I listen to it. There's also some nice calmer moments which are, chill and groovy and I'm into, and then there's MacGuffins, which is just one of the most insane K-pop songs I've ever heard, and it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. This is just, it's a really great album and absolutely fitting of the group. I hope to see this do big things for them, and I hope that they continue to drop music like this in the future, because it's so good. And that brings us to the end of this month. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of these albums down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, blah 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 blah. I'll keep bringing, the good music content, so stick around, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, love you.